Washington football. Woo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am your host, Kyle, and I am joined by my two co-hosts, Michael Hall and Michael Reed. The Burgundy Zone is a part of the Frederick Podcast Network. You can find out more by going to www.listenfrederick.com, but we are rejoined by a special guest and beat reporter for the Washington Commanders of the Washington Times, Mr. Mathew Paras. Thank you for joining us again, Matt. How are you doing on this cold, rainy Monday?
I'm hanging in there, but pretty good. Been busy today, but happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm speaking of being busy today. The Washington Commanders had their voluntary workout offseason program today, and there were some noticeable names in there that actually were a part of the program and showed up. So if you could kind of give us an update on who showed up to the workouts and then who didn't.
Right. Yeah, it seemed like the main one that we're kind of all waiting for was whether Chase Young would be there, and he was. Now, a bit of caveat with this, of course, he was he's recovering from a torn ACL. So would he not be there if he was fully healthy and could train elsewhere? Who knows? But at the same time, I think it is significant given all that happened last year. Notably, he wasn't there, and it became a bit of an issue as the season went on. And so, we saw photos of Chase Young pushing sleds and doing kind of just strength and conditioning work, because that's all these guys are allowed to do at the moment because of the NFL collective bargaining agreement. But as for who wasn't there, the most notable one was Terry Mclaurin. He's expected to arrive Tuesday, but ESPN reported today that Mclaurin's not expected to do any on-field work when that portion of the offseason begins in his bid to try and get a new contract. And
then Chase Young, he was seen without his knee brace, right?
He was. Yeah, that's noticeable too. I mean, who knows if it's just for the strength and conditioning portion. If he takes the field, maybe he has to wear it. We don't know the answers to those questions yet, but yeah, he was taken without one. He was taking a picture of that one.
Right. That's huge. And of course, we all know Chase is a physical freak of nature, but Washington fans have really been in uproar over the Terry McLaurin situation. Of course, this is just a basic question, but do you have a feeling that this contract will get done, and what can you expect the numbers to be?
Yeah, it's still relatively early into the process. When you think about last year, they didn't get Jonathan Allen's deal done until right before training camp.
July 27th, I believe, is when.
Yeah, and so that was on the edge of that. And Allen, like McLaurin, was going into his last year of his contract, I believe. And so, that situation bears monitoring. But as for what a deal could actually look like, I mean, you have to look around at the deals that have happened this offseason. I mean, I was just looking this up before you guys called, but it was there are 9 wide receivers who make north of $20 million annually in the NFL. And I think that's kind of the starting point for McLaurin.
Right.
You look at some of those names, even a guy like Amari Cooper's in that class, Mike Evans in Tampa. McLaurin, you could argue whether he's worth the Devontae Adams or the Tyreek Hills, the guys who've gotten north of Tyreek Hill's making $30 million, but
right.
He's probably in a tier below that. And so, the 20 million, 25, 23, who knows where it ends up being, but I would say north of 20 million is probably the starting point.
Right. And I mean, let's be honest, hopefully they get it done, because at the end of the day, Terry pretty much not only the face of the franchise, at this point, he kind of is the franchise. So definitely hope that he gets that done this summer. And sticking with the news they rolled in today, it seems that Washington finally hired a trainer, Al Bellamy. Can you give us a little background on him?
Yeah, Al's the guy that has been with this franchise before. When Martin Mayhew was actually a player here, he was just starting out as an assistant trainer. The press release that they sent out had a pretty glowing quote from Martin Mayhew, and began his career here. He was here for a bit, 13 years, and then he went to Detroit. I think for the last 9 years, he was with in the college ranks in Temple. And so we'll see how this situation kind of bears out. I mean, I think Ryan Vermillion, I asked about his status today with the team, and the team just referred back to their original statement, which said Ryan Vermillion was on leave now. He was on leave because of the DEA was investigating.
Yeah.
And
Is he by chance? Do you know if he's living in an RV in the desert with a little short guy named Jesse cooking?
All right. No, important to note, caveat, is that Ryan Vermillion still hasn't been charged with anything. So who knows where that investigation stands? Personally, I don't know where that stands, but they had to address this at some point. They kind of got by it on kind of just Band-Aids and bringing in former trainers and that sort of thing last season, interns. So, it's good that they finally addressed that, and it was a needed position going into a new batch of OTAs here.
It would make a lot of sense if the Commanders were waiting on making a final judgment on Vermillion based on what happens in the legal process. Obviously, there's other things that go into it. But today, besides the voluntary offseason program happening, Kyle Hamilton, the big safety that could possibly fall to 11 for the Commanders, was in for a visit today. So do you think that there's some smoke there, or do you think the word are being played for a fiddle?
No, I think there's smoke there. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense if you look at that position. Washington doesn't really have anyone on the roster to replace that Buffalo nickel position that Landon Collins was playing last season, and obviously Washington released Collins. So whether Hamilton could slot in there at day one, now you can argue whether using the 11th pick for just the Buffalo nickel position is worthwhile, but you could also do some interesting things with that, because you could have Hamilton be the strong safety, move Cam Curl back to the Buffalo nickel. He's just the type of guy that really provides you with a lot of opportunities there. And I think it would be a really interesting pick if he were to actually fall on them on draft night.
Right. Very smart man, Matt. Very smart.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. And another person that recently had his pro day that the Commanders have brought in is wide receiver Drake London. Now, if you pull 5 different five different scouts, you will see 5 different rankings on these top 5 receivers. It seems like I've seen Drake London number 1 on some boards. I've seen him number 5. So really depends. Do you think that he's in play for the Commanders at 11? Because it seemed like at first it was the media and fans that were all over him. You didn't really hear much about connections with the team, but now all of a sudden after the pro day, they're bringing him in.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing to watch or to kind of monitor. Sorry about that. He's a guy that they don't really have, he's a guy that they really have size. I mean, you look at Washington's roster, the only guys with size are Cam Sims, who mixed track record, but okay, maybe it's something. And then Antonio Gandy-Golden, who hasn't really panned out. And so, he would give Washington a true type of possession guy, one that I would argue they haven't really had since Pierre Garçon, as much as Terry McLaurin. He can do everything. So have that true possession type. I think he's a really interesting name to watch. It's just, do they like him more than Garrett Wilson? I don't know. Or even Chris Olave. I don't know. Chris Olave was also here for a visit. So I don't know what their receiver rankings look like. But, they're definitely checking into it.
Yes, please get some more offensive weapons. Speaking of the roster and being built out, it seems that a lot of people were, and I guess they still are, saying that Washington is needing a linebacker, especially a middle linebacker. How surprised have you been that they haven't actually addressed that position yet? And how do you see them addressing that going forward? Do you see it in the draft, or you see maybe adding a veteran late free agency or something like that?
Right. I am a little surprised. I mean, you think even though Washington has been quiet this offseason, Jermaine Carter was a guy with Carolina ties. If we wanted to go with just that criteria, they had someone out there who could fill that spot. But
seems to be the only criteria.
Right. And so, I'm kind of skeptical of whether they really believe that Cole Holcomb is a true
a fit for the Mike linebacker spot.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Just 1 second.
You're fine.
No problem.
Hey, dude, you're at work right now, Matt. Nobody's blaming you at all.
Yeah.
At all. Because that is a great point that's brought up about Cole. Because yes, they can say that till they're blue in the teeth that Cole Holcomb is fit for the middle linebacker spot. But the fact being is, the proof is in the pudding, right? And we had that last season. And did Cole do well there? Yes. But in the same breath, Rivera did make a comment about how Cole is better suited for the outside linebacker spot. So you'd much rather be able to play Cole where he is best fitted for. Absolutely.
Right. And I mean, would you want to have, if they do go the route of the draft, which kind of seems likely at this point. Do you really, like Logan talked about, do you really want to have 3 young linebackers as your top 3 guys? Like, you might want to get some veteran experience in there. So it's kind of tough to gauge the direction that they're going with this.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, and with Jamin Davis, he doesn't seem like a long-term fit at middle linebackers. So
right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, Matt, the latest has come out that off the field issues left and right, obviously with this football team. But the latest has been about these allegations from Kevin Friedman, who worked for this team for over 2 decades, had these allegations. The team had a very telling letter today. Can you kind of give us the latest on those, the letter that was responded with the Commanders?
Yeah, and so I like to kind of think of it as a court case, right? You have the prosecution giving their argument, and now here comes the defense and giving out their sides. And so sorry again.
Hey,
Yeah.
is something happening that we need to know about, Matt?
Maybe a little bit, but
what? Give it to me. Give it to me.
No, I can't say, but there is something that I'm going to have to jump off relatively soonish. But
Okay.
sorry, I don't mean to be unprofessional, but
No. You're perfectly fine, Matt. But what is the latest with the team? What did they say?
Yeah, so they argued that Jason Friedman, who is the employee behind all these accusations, that he is uncredible, that he's a disgruntled former employee. They revealed that he was fired in 2020 for these are their words, the type of behavior that, Congress is trying to investigate. And so, that really this letter Monday was about pushing back against the specific claims that Jason Friedman detailed in his testimony to Congress. So the allegation that Washington diverted ticket revenue and hid it by sending it to a Navy Notre Dame game. They just pushed back and said, like, look, this is how we detailed it. If you had asked us, we would have shown you. And so they wrote this letter to the FTC basically asking, hey, don't launch an investigation into us because this guy is not to be trusted. And so, Friedman's lawyers shot back today saying stands by his testimony and that it's truthful.
Do you have time for one more quick one?
Yeah.
Very, very quick. Washington, a lot of the fan base, when they're doing these mock drafts, they typically talk about, the wide receivers need to be best fit for Carson Wentz. In your opinion, is it in the best interest of the Washington Commanders to build a team future-wise around Carson instead of maybe drafting a wide receiver based on what they could be in 2 to 3 years, just based on the prospect?
Yeah, I get the sense that, they would like to surround him with weapons that fit his skill set, but at the same time, you look at his contract, it does have a year, or you can get out of it after this year. So if the experiment doesn't work out, then, you should still address the player. But also, if they don't draft a taller receiver, I know Carson Wentz has a good track record with those type of guys. I think he'd be just happy with Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave if they could, produce. I don't necessarily think it's necessarily, you don't need a 6'4", 6'3" receiver automatically.
Absolutely. Matt, I can't thank you enough for coming in here and joining us. I know that I'm not sure if I should be excited or concerned about whatever it is you have to go work on right now, but I can't thank you enough for taking the time out for us, Matt. I really do. You're the best, man.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. Appreciate it.
You're the best,
No
brother.
problem.
Have a good
Take
night.
it easy, man.
Thanks.
Oh, man.
Funny he just brought up Garrett Wilson and said Garrett Wilson because I'm looking through Twitter now and it's saying that we hosted Garrett Wilson today on a visit as well. So, hey, maybe somehow, some way he falls down the board and we get Garrett Wilson at 11.
Now, the conspiracy theory mind in me is thinking, like, are these timed visits on purpose, right? Because you have to imagine all of the other players are in the facility today. And so where else would they be bringing Kyle Hamilton to the facility? So possibly are they bringing in Garrett Wilson and Kyle Hamilton to see how they gel with the players before making the selection? And that's kind of where my conspiracy head goes. Like, wow, maybe there is some actual meat on that bone.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, also, we know that they like Perrion Winfrey, that they brought him in as well, and Drake London. So, I mean, hey, let's see what they got going on there. Might be some smartness, some brains behind this strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just real quick, I wanted to say thank you to you guys. You guys took a tough toll. I know in the comment section on YouTube, everyone was complaining about the sound, and I have to say it's my fault.
It's all Kyle's fault,
I
100%.
put them on blast. I think I gave you guys like an hour ahead of time to basically say, look, you're hosting the show, and I tried helping you get it up to date and everything like that. But you guys did a great job without me. I thought the show didn't miss a beat at all. And,
some would say better, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I was gonna say. It was like the first time I could listen to the show without like having to worry about hearing my own stupid voice or
cringing.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly.
I will say it gave me definitely a newfound respect for you, having to balance all that stuff. I sit there and I'm like watching the time, and I'm like, damn, I could be doing so many other productive things right now, like trying to think of a joke, but I can't do it. So shout out to your family.
You're right, dude. I told you before we started recording that if we had more time, I could have definitely helped you out getting you to not try to replicate what I do, but do your own thing. Because I thought you did a great job at it. But before we
might win an Emmy, I heard.
Yeah, it's true. Before we get into the fan questions and the rest of the show and our second guest, I just wanted to explain the Kyle Hamilton pick. Because obviously some people have their reservations about him not being a free safety, but there's a reason why I selected him at 11. And the reason why I picked him there is because Kyle Hamilton is well known that it's a long stride, versatile player. He could come in and be that Buffalo nickel. He can help you out in some of the dime linebacker situations, right? I mean, how many times have we heard people talk about they don't have 3 linebackers on the field at all times? Not that much at all, if any. And so Kyle Hamilton could stand in as that dime linebacker next to Cole Holcomb in some of those wide passing sets, and he can help you out in that scenario. Or he could play free safety, being able to move Bobby McCain over to the slot corner and then moving Cam Curl stay at his position at strong safety. And so the reason why I made that pick at 11 is because I believe Kyle Hamilton at 11 makes a lot of sense because it helps out not only the safeties, it helps out the corners, and it helps out the linebacker position. So at any time, Kyle Hamilton could be able to help those areas where you don't need to go as high in the draft. I know we love Chad Muma. I love Troy Anderson. But if you select Kyle Hamilton at 11, it actually frees you up a whole lot in being able to not draft a safety or a linebacker or a corner early in the draft. It really does help you out in your back end. I know a lot of people want a playmaker, so do I, but that's just how I viewed the pick.
That's also what I was about to say. It's almost like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because then all of a sudden you can start focusing other places. And to be completely honest, this the NFL is turning into a 3 safety league almost. It seems like you need to have 3 good safeties, 3 people that can play. And with that versatility that he has, I just think it would be an ideal pick. And then, like we said, it's a very deep draft. It's a very good draft. You can still get a wide receiver day 2 who can come in and make an impact. So.
Yeah, and then I feel really bad because everyone had submitted their fan videos. I got them all up and ready, and then the news came down that I wasn't going to be able to be here, so it was going to be hard to be able to send you those videos and implement them into Zoom.
I would have messed it up.
Yeah, it would have been really, really bad. But I just want to say, Jamal Maltellit, he absolutely killed his video. He started his video by saying, "Hey, Pete, I got it, man, I got it." So he was making the pick for Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks. I thought he did a great job with it. And then Adam Aniba, obviously, and Eddie and Tony Shivers and Mike Puckett, who is going to be joining us here soon, just got married. So we're going to be able to say congratulations to Mike and finish this episode with him. Obviously, I went out and watched the Atlanta game with him at the bar, and then we went and saw the Chargers game with him, Hall. I'm not sure if you remember that. He was there with his brother and his brother's girlfriend. So that was a lot of fun. But before we get into our next guest, let's talk about the Colonel's question here. And I want to go to you first, Hall. Do any of you hosts detect any subtle subterfuge on the part of Ron and Marty? For example, all the hype about the Ohio State receivers when perhaps they're really far more interested in a bigger target for Wentz like Drake London.
Yeah, I mean, it's draft. The draft is steadily approaching. What are we like inside 10, 11 days, something like that right now? Yeah. Week and a half away. So, I mean, this is like lying season right now, and it's all about pretty much trying to get the other teams to think what the other teams behind you to get to think what you're going to do, because maybe they want to move up and get the guy that you want. Maybe they want to move up and get a guy that the other teams want. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely also it's great to have like your options, just because like who knows how the board's really going to shake out. So you got to host all these guys and kind of sift through what's the truth and what's not, basically around this time of season. So I definitely think that there's a little bit of like misplay going on here, but at the same time, I definitely think that a lot of these guys are on their draft board and could be in play at either pick 11 or 47.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I don't know if like the bigger target, because like I even brought this up right on Twitter the other day about in Carolina with like Kelvin Benjamin and like Devin Funches, are we really sure that was like Ron's and North Turner's pick, or was that Dave Gettleman? Because if you look at Dave Gettleman in New York, he signed Kenny Galladay, right? A bigger wide receiver. And it's not like here in Washington they've really gone after it, except besides AGG and re-signing Cam Sims. I mean, they drafted Diami Brown in the 3rd round, right? I mean, they could have gone other ways, but it kind of shows that maybe it isn't like a tall wide receiver. And that was kind of my point with Mathew Paras, was like essentially saying, are we really sure they're going to gear the draft around Carson Wentz when the future of Carson is still up in the air? And I understand that Ron Rivera talked about how they 100% are viewing Carson for the future, but that doesn't mean that you like dictate your entire draft around him, who possibly won't be here in 2 years. I find that bad business practice.
Also,
Right, yeah.
to your point real quick, like Ron Rivera can say till he's blue in the face, like, he's our guy, we want him here. He seems like a multi-year type of solution to our problem. But again, if that was the case, they would have restructured his contract to keep him here past
Right.
a year.
Right.
So it's definitely a prove-it deal. So you're definitely right about that.
Right. I think that they definitely want him to pan out, but like they're
Yeah.
definitely preparing for just in case he doesn't. I mean, that's why they only give him a year. You're right. What was that word Colonel used?
Honestly,
Subterfuge.
I was gonna look
Subterfuge,
it up. I was gonna
I-
look it up, and I was like, "Shit, he's going
I'm
to."
gonna be completely. I don't know what that
butchered
means.
it. I butchered it. Oh, subterfuge means bullcrap.
No, I knew that though. I was just making sure that you did so that you could say it.
Yeah, he's actually said that to me before, and I've had to ask him what subterfuge meant. He's a very educated person. I will say.
I was
that.
about to say, yeah, he is, and I am, so I understand that. But yeah, like you guys said, totally, yeah, for sure.
No, but I do think there is a lot of smokescreen, especially during this time going around. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I just don't see it being like you know the term "never put your eggs into one basket," right? And that's kind of my whole view with this, like basically saying that you should be drafting a wide receiver for Carson. Yes, you want Carson to be successful and
Right.
adding those talents with him, but the last thing you want to do is drafting a wide receiver and basing the entire draft around that wide receiver because of Carson. You don't know if Carson's going to get injured. You don't know if Carson's going to be here after this season. That's why you draft the best person that's possible for your team.
It might be one of those bigger receivers is the guy that they feel most comfortable with and that they're the highest on, that he's the top rated on their board. And if that's the case, go for it. But yeah, I don't think that they're going to strictly tailor it to Carson Wentz. Like you said, I think he'll be happy with the Chris Olave as well.
That's also why I've been, not only just because I want another playmaker, I want them to have as many weapons as possible, but that's also the reason why I have been so like banging the table, like get a guy at 11, because say Carson Wentz doesn't work out or he gets injured or whatever the thing may be, he's not here next year or part of this year. Well, you're still drafting for the future because whoever the next quarterback coming in is,
You want to have a solid
Terry.
foundation.
You're going to want to have as many weapons around. Say they have to draft a rookie next year. Well, you want to have as many weapons around on the team for that rookie to come in to prosper for this team. So, or they go veteran route. Say like we kind of the Russell Wilson thing where it's like Denver's very attractive because of that defense and all the wide receivers they have. So maybe they want to go the veteran route again next year. Well, all right, cool. Now you have Terry. You have a second-year wide receiver going into in the offense and whatever that may be. So that's why I just been pounding the table because I want as many weapons as possible just in case Carson Wentz doesn't work out. Well, now the next guy has ample opportunities to succeed because it's already set up for him.
I got
Also,
you.
real fast, Kyle, you mentioned how Ron and them, they may not be the ones that are really actually all about the big receivers. And I mean, to further prove your point, they went after a guy like Curtis Samuel as opposed to some of these bigger wide receivers in the last offseason. So maybe that does show something.
Yeah, and I mean, I know people love to point jokes at Curtis Samuel, and obviously he did not play that many snaps last season, but the fact is they did not pay Curtis Samuel anywhere near close to what Kenny Galladay got in New York. And to get 0 touchdowns from that guy, that was laughable.
Kenny Galladay, was healthy for a good amount of games. He just didn't do anything.
Yeah, and now my point of the Curtis Samuel thing, everyone's like, he's a bust. I have no faith. All right, I get that because you haven't seen it. But at the same time, you can't call a guy a bust because it's a 3-year contract. Like, if we're calling people bust after 1 year out of their contract, like, why do we have any veterans in NFL? Because every veteran in NFL has never had success every single year of their contract.
Right.
So you can't call him a bust yet. If he comes out this year and doesn't do anything, okay, cool. You can call him a bust, bad signing, whoever was behind it, kick him out the door. But until that happens, let's just see what happens this year.
Yeah, and then we talked about with Mathew Paras earlier about the voluntary offseason program. I was very happy to see Chase Young there. I didn't really care too much about the knee brace. I'm not sure if it was just for the pictures that he took the knee brace off, but I'm glad to see Chase there. And Chase was obviously, the title for this episode is Reporting for Duty, and he did that. And obviously, there's the picture that we have as our thumbnail is him putting his hand up, his fist up, getting all the guys together, and that's exactly why you would want Chase Young there. Being the leader, taking control, even after all offseason being injured, the dude comes in and still has a stronghold of personalities on that team like Montez Sweat. I absolutely love it. But, Hall, are you concerned at all that Terry McLaurin was not there, but is reporting tomorrow, apparently?
No, it's no big deal to me. I mean, at the end of the day, we all got to remember this is voluntary workouts. It's not like a mandated thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go back to around this time with Reuben Foster and Terry McLaurin's, I want to say it was his rookie year, Reuben Foster ends up getting injured. Pretty much just destroys the rest of his career, anything he had going forward with his career, because of all the damage he did to his knee. So obviously Terry, being smart and just the all-around good guy, great guy that he is, he's still going to show up, still going to be the face and like that vocal leader for the guys in the room. Just not going to do anything on the field. So I totally get it. You don't want to have any type of anything going into your contract negotiations for them to kind of, I guess, lower the bar for the negotiations or something like that. I still think they're going to give him what he's due and what he's owed. But at the same time, obviously it's a negotiation, it's still a business. So you don't want to give the other side any leverage in the negotiations going forward. And obviously you want to be healthy going into the season. So no problem with it. I think the deal is going to get done, and I'm just happy that he's going to show up anyway.
Dude, if I had Terry's number, I would hit him up tonight and be like, hey, when you report tomorrow, go out and see if you can buy Ron Rivera type clothes that go in looking like Rivera. Because if you're not going to be doing anything, at least make it fun. Make it lighthearted, make it fun, make it a picture. I'm sure that Emily would love to be able to photograph some of those things and put it out on the web. I think we would all love it. But I'm right there with you, Hall. It just sucks that the agent would probably get in between that, right? Let's just say Terry, as a gamer, as a football player, wants to work out with his buddies, but his agent is saying, well, no, we got to look out for your career here. If you get injured, your money value drops, right? Yeah. And that's the kind of issue that I have. But it kind of shows to Terry the kind of leader and human that he is, showing up. And even though he's not participating, that he's going to be there to show his commitment, maybe not only to the Commanders, but to the rest of the NFL. Maybe a skeptic could say, but I think this is a commitment to the Commanders and showing how much he loves his team and his guys. And it's them against the world, and I'm right there for it. I'm cheering them on. I'm glad that we have Terry McLaurin. He's reporting tomorrow. Obviously that they let the team know that they're reporting tomorrow. It's not like they just no-showed today. They're showing up tomorrow. They let them know. The team was well aware of it. If it was the other side where they thought Terry was showing up today and he didn't, then yeah, I would have a lot more of an issue with it.
Right. The main thing I have an issue with is the reporting from Schefter and them, just grouping him in with DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, and Deebo Samuel, because Terry's just not working out just in case he gets injured, like you said. I mean, he's still there. He's still a leader on this team. He's still a captain. He's still showing his face when he didn't have to. He didn't have to do any of that. But he is, just because that just shows how much he wants to be a part of this team and how serious he takes it. So, I mean, I completely get it. I don't blame the guy. I wouldn't work out either, but it's good for him for at least showing up, unlike some of these other diva wide receivers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because that is a legit thing. When you look at Deebo and these other guys, they're acting a certain way, and that's not Terry McLaurin. And that's why one of the reasons why I say he is elite. Because
you mean Terry didn't scrub his whole social media with everything Commanders?
No, he didn't, because he actually is an adult, right?
What?
Why, who dare? And look, fresh off of Cancun, Mexico, our guy, big fan and friend of all of ours, Mr. Mike Puckett. What's up, brother?
Looking tan.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you. Can you all hear me good?
Yeah, you're good, brother. You're good. He has a microphone, he has a laptop and all that, but his newlywed wife just took it with her to work today, so he doesn't have a charger for his laptop. Yeah. So look, he's on his cell phone. I can't thank you enough for doing that, Mike. And I wanted to say I'm sorry for not being able to upload your video from Friday's mock draft. You had a great one for the Cowboys, picking Kenyon Green, going to the Cowboys. He texted me after. He's like, I took one for the team, boys. It was still a good pick, though, dude. I'm not going to lie to you.
Right.
But let's get into our first questions here, Mike, and I'll start this with you, Puckett. How do y'all feel about Al Bellamy being hired as a director of training?
I trust the process. I trust Ron's view. I trust his insight. I trust the changes that the culture that they're trying to make. So I'm not going to say, oh, I'm excited for, it's going to work out. But, I have high hopes because I have to trust the process. And I feel like, the people that he brings in are all good people, and he's just trying to make a change. So I'm with it. I'm full ride with it, and it's something that was needed. So, all I can say is let's hope for the best.
You're absolutely right. And I do think there is a reason for why they waited as long as they did to hire a replacement for Vermillion. I do think the legal process has a lot to do with that. What about you, Reed?
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's not in the desert cooking up meth or something with his little sidekick, or selling pills like one of these little SoundCloud rappers, I'm fine with it. So it'll be a nice change as far as I know. Then again, I mean, the guy, I don't know much about the guy, but hey, I think that they chose him for a reason. I would imagine that he would be a big difference between him and the last guy, Vermillion.
Yeah, and I'm just happy that
they want to go through that again.
I'm just happy that they're bringing in somebody just for structure. Because back when I used to listen to 106, something they used to constantly joke about was who's going to be the trainer? Who's the trainer? Well, at this point, we know now. So let's go and move on. And hopefully Ryan Vermillion didn't do the things he's accused of and why they raided the team facility and brought embarrassment to this fan base and as another tool to be able to stoke against Washington and the rest of us.
But if he did, a guy's got to make a buck, So I get it.
What if he has cancer? He's got to pay for his bills, man.
Exactly.
He's a teacher.
What if he's a science teacher? Yeah, he just grabs his little next door neighbor student and starts cooking up the blue good stuff. He has a wife that just looks like a 6 foot tall pterodactyl or something. I hated that one. I hated Skylar.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so now the next question that we have, and sorry, that was from Jeff Miles in our Discord chat server. Just want to put that, sorry, Jeff, I didn't put your name in there. But the next question is from our guy, Mr. Scott Hartley, in the UK. Oi. So I'll start this with you, Reed. What did you all want to do as your dream job when you left school, college, etc.? Are you in any way following that dream, Reed?
You mean besides being a figure skater / dancer? I'm trying to think what I want to be. I used to want to do a lot of comedy. Mike. Yeah. I used to want to do a lot of comedy. I started doing that for a little bit, but then I kind of fell off. But no, not really following that at all anymore. Now it's all about just cooking meth and selling it, just like
We're not going to get away from the meth of this episode, are we? What about you, Puckett?
I'm living the dream, brother.
My man.
I have my family. I have my beautiful daughter. I'm working, 5 days a week, 40 hours a week. I can't really complain about it. Maybe it's not, I always wanted to be the football player or the sniper military guy or the fighter pilot jet guy, but, I'm completely satisfied where I'm at right now,
Yeah, and absolutely. And his wife's a badass, too. His wife is in the military, a lawyer as well. She is awesome. And just real quick before you go, Puckett, tell us about the wedding, dude. Tell us about Mexico. Is it true that you guys had fireworks go up in the middle of the sky that's shape of a heart?
Yes, we did. And honestly, I did not know that was going to happen. My wife kind of had that as a surprise.
That's cool.
So that wasn't part of my deal in the whole wedding, but it was a beautiful thing. Mexico is beautiful. Luckily, we didn't have any wind. We didn't have any rain. Everybody showed up. And, it was a beautiful, beautiful day. I couldn't, ask for anything more. It was originally supposed to be in Vegas, but then COVID hit. So we had to wait an additional 2 years for all that to go down. And then we kind of were like, hey, where do you want to get married? And I was like, Mexico. So we went down there, ate all the tacos we wanted to, and we got married. It was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's rare, too, that there's nothing wrong with the weather at all on your wedding day. That's clutch. No. That's a good sign. Yeah.
Because I've been to Mexico a lot, and I swear every time I go, it's either raining or windy. So I was just really happy that it came through.
You guys didn't meet any cartels or anything down there?
Well, not that I don't know. Maybe the guys selling some stuff on the beach. You never know.
Right? They're not like, hey, by the way, what's up? Yeah, my name's Raul. I'm a member of the cartel. They don't say that.
Puckett did say that he was going out for his bachelor party down there in Mexico, and I was like, dude, please be safe down there, dude, because you have no idea once you get down to that area. But Hall,
Oh, no.
let's keep it with you. What was your dream job coming out of school, and are you living it in any way?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, most people's dream is like, oh, I want to be NBA player, NFL player, like something to do with sports, baseball player, whatever it may be. So, like, yeah, play sports growing up throughout high school. So, always wanted to do something like sports related. But, like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not like, oh man, I'm not like in the NFL or I'm not like this. You know what I'm saying? I'm still like Puckett said, I'm happy. So, I'm yeah, I got a job, got a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 5, like technically, but I work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, so can't complain.
Get your paper, boo boo. Yeah, I echo those sentiments. I've always wanted to get in something in the NFL with football, talking ball. I knew that I didn't have the power, the speed, or anything talented enough to be able to play it at a high level, and I also didn't have the connections to be able to coach at any level, even though I understand the game very, very well. So just trying to find anything I could do really, and a podcast obviously bloomed up. Obviously, I graduated at '08, so it wasn't like podcasts were a thing at that time, except if you're Joe Rogan, who foresight is outlandish. But like besides that, like obviously I'm living the dream, dude. You know, I'm a father, I'm a husband. There's nothing I can ask for more. I got great people like you guys who constantly ask questions because you want to hear our thoughts, which is just amazing when you think about it. The fact that you guys are all around here and being able to submit questions all the time just to hear us answer them. I think it's really, really cool. But speaking on that, let's keep this with Andy Lockhart, Scouse Andy in the UK. Oi!
Oi.
Puckett, I'm going to keep this with you. How much do you think Terry's contract will be, length and cost?
You know, that's tough. You know, it seems like every other week we're getting another wide receiver that just keeps on getting paid more and more and more. I'm just say this is we have to lock him up.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you have to do, you have to do it. You have to bring the fans back. You have to make them want to see somebody, want the competitiveness that he brings and leadership. So if I had a guess, I would say 5 years at maybe 110. I would say that just to make him happy, make me happy. It might burn the pockets a little bit and have to put a hole in it. But you know what? I feel like at the end of the day, you have to do it. I mean, it's not. When's the last time that we had a wide receiver that we can talk about something like this?
Well, not even that. When's the last time that we had a wide receiver here that we groomed, that we drafted, that blossomed into a superstar, an elite wide receiver? I don't care what any of you talking heads think. The dude's elite, and I'm right there with you. I agree. I put up like a month or two ago. I thought the contract for Terry would be 5 years, $125 million with $60 million guaranteed, because I know that the 125 really does scare people a little bit, but the $6 million guaranteed, $60 million guaranteed is really where the nuts and bolts are of that contract. And I would absolutely love that for Terry McLaurin. I want him to retire here. I've said it many, many times. He's the offensive version of Darryl Green for this organization, and we need to make sure that we keep him here long term. All he does is keep his head down, work hard. He's there for his teammates, stays healthy, and he does everything that he's needed to. Obviously, showing up to offseason workouts tomorrow, even in the middle of a contract negotiation. So it just goes to show you who Terry is. But 5 years, $125 million, $60 million guaranteed is my guess. What do you think, Reed?
Yeah, I would say somewhere between 4 to 5 years, probably at 22 to 23 mil a year. I mean, that'll put him ahead of guys like DJ Moore, but under people like Devontae Adams, and that's just kind of what the market's going to be set at. It seems like after Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams signed their huge deals. I mean, you had Christian Kirk sign an absurd deal for him this offseason, so they're just kind of up next, but they won't get that elite tier of money, but they'll be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I like that. What about you, Hall?
Yeah, I think it's going to be because Terry's 27 right now. So I think it's going to be a 4-year contract to get him to age 31. And then maybe he can re-up again. So either here or somewhere else, get like another, I'm not going to say like another like bank breaking contract, but he can definitely get another contract before he gets to the back nine of his career and retires. So I'll go 4 years, probably like 23 to 24 million a year, whatever that equals out to. I don't feel like doing the math right now.
I got you. Now, the next question in our Discord chat server is from KT. Many mocks have Hamilton and then a wide receiver in round 2, still leaving a void at linebacker. Who's a free agent linebacker you could see them pursuing after the draft if they don't address it, Hall?
I don't even know. I don't have the list of free agents in front of me right now that are still on the market, but Definitely, like we talked about with Matt Paras, I definitely do think that they need to add at least one veteran presence that's been in the league for a while, knows how to play the Mike position, and can come into that room. And you don't have to take over the room, don't have to be a defensive captain, nothing like that, but just be like that older presence, that veteran presence to kind of teach these younger guys how to play the position the way that Ron Rivera wants to play it, and kind of just how to be an NFL player at their highest level. So doesn't have to be a crazy superstar type of guy, just a solid vet that's been in the league a couple of years that can come in and kind of guide the younger guys as well.
First off, number one, Luke Keikley. Obviously, he could come in as a free agent and could contribute right away if he's in playing shape. But two, Joe Schobert. I think that is a quality veteran guy that you could come in and plug in. But I will say, KT, obviously you didn't see this in the episode, but I said picking Kyle Hamilton 11 will be able to help you with these linebackers as well in certain sets and your dime packages. So honestly, by taking Kyle Hamilton 11, it actually dispels your need for a linebacker since they don't use three linebackers that much anyway already. And so Kyle Hamilton does ease up that need there, but I would like to see Joe Schobert here. I think that's somebody that could come in right away and just be able to wrap up ball carriers and get guys in position. What about you, Puckett?
I'm on the same fence as you all. I would just appreciate a veteran that will come in and compete and push the younger guys that we have in front of them to be better, because that's what I feel like needs to happen. You know, Jamin Davis, not everybody was excited about how he ended the season, but I feel like if you bring somebody in who's competitive, who's a leader, who could show that he could play the game, so that if he doesn't work out, you have him, but if he does work out, he has somebody behind him that's pushing him and making them better each and every day. So as far as the free agency, it's really just about, you know, getting the right guy in who fits the culture that Ron's trying to build and the defense that they're trying to form. And Luke Keikley obviously is a one. No, I know, but that's like the norm, you know, but in the old Carolina.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I know what you're saying. Basically, you want to be able just to have a good mind back there, middle linebacker. The veteran presence is essentially what you're saying. What about you, Reed?
I mean, you kind of took my Joe Schobert was kind of the direction I was leaning, but I mean, no, it's all good. But you're right with the Kyle Hamilton thing. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily need to sign a linebacker, but there are still some guys out there. Like if you want like somebody who's been on winning teams, you could take like a Kyle Van Noy or a Dante Hightower. I know Anthony Barr doesn't necessarily play inside, but he's somebody else who's had success in the NFL, who's a veteran who's still out there. So there's some decent guys out there that have been a part of some winning teams that could really come in and provide some valuable experience and knowledge to Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb.
And I think one guy that we're forgetting about, and I don't mean to disrespect but John Bostic as well. I'm pretty sure he's still out there, and it's somebody that knows his defense.
No, he's definitely still out there.
And if you're looking for depth and everything like that, John Bostic could easily be able to spell that for you, just to add some depth here, because he is a quality tackler. He is smart. He gets guys in position. It's funny, Mike, because Puckett, when I went on my honeymoon with my wife down at Cancun, we actually met the childhood friend of John Bostic at that time. He was playing for the Steelers, and you just talked about how great of a guy John Bostic was, even as they were kids. So it's just funny how, you know, just things work like that. But the next question that we have is from Big Tody Shivers. We need depth at defensive tackle now. Who are some defensive tackles that y'all like after round one, Reed?
Oh, okay. So I got a list. I'll only add two of them on this list. Is that okay?
Yes.
Can I put two? All right. So for day 3, one of my favorite defensive tackles for day 3 is Thomas Booker out of Stanford. If you're just looking, first of all, the guy posted a 9.88 RAS score. He was a team captain the last 2 years. If you go watch his interview with what's the guy's name? Either he has an interview on YouTube that he did on on Brett Coleman's channel as an underrated draft prospect, and the dude could easily be a coach. The guy's smart as hell. He was nominated for the academic version of the Heisman this past year. He's a fantastic student. Yeah, he's a hard worker, obviously, with his RAS score. He's somebody who would really blend in with Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. He's somebody that I really like. I've liked him for a while, and he should be there day 3. And then if you look at day 2 guys, there's some guys that we really like. We mentioned Perrion Winfrey earlier, so I'll go with him. He's somebody that the team really seems to like. He's out of Oklahoma. He's 6'4", 292. He's somebody who can come in immediately and be a good rotational defensive tackle. He play 3 technique. He could play all over the line, and you could really rotate him around, and he could eventually develop into a starter if need be. But I really think defensive tackle's a position getting overlooked by some fans in terms of where they're going to go early on in the draft, because you need that third rotational guy.
Yeah, and I won't take that many people from you, Hall and Puckett, but I will say John Ridgway from Arkansas, somebody I've talked about a lot, and somebody that could be available in the 4th round for you. And that, I listened to the pod on Friday, and Logan talked about Jordan Davis kind of having that extra defensive tackle to be able to be in there to spell away the attention away from Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. I think John Ridgway could be that rotational piece, if not like a Thomas Booker from Stanford. But another guy that's not getting a lot of love is Haskell Garrett, the Ohio State defensive tackle. One of my notes on him is he almost plays defensive tackle like a linebacker. It's very weird how he uses his vision a lot instead of just being a force up. Like he's almost like a glove in a way that he's just looking to be able to catch the play at him. And I think Haskell Garrett is a very intriguing prospect in those later rounds if you're looking for defensive tackle depth. Sorry, Puckett. Is there anybody you got in mind in the later rounds past the first round?
No, you all kind of stole my gold right there. So, because the way I look at it is you can never have too many weapons at the defensive line because you never know when injuries are going to happen. It's such an important position with the pass rush, and you just have to be able to plug and play guys depending on the scheme that you want to run. So for me I want somebody that's athletic, big, strong, good footwork, and can push the pile. Doesn't necessarily have to get to the quarterback or make all the tackles, but at least clog it up so that it bounces the running backs outside and makes the quarterback uncomfortable. Maybe he has to bounce out and make it easier for Chase Young and Montez Sweat to possibly get that sack or get that tackle for loss. So for me, those are really good picks, and I agree with you on Booker for sure. I really, really like him.
My man, we usually do agree whenever we're texting. What do you think, Hall? Is there anybody you got in mind, or are we good?
Yeah, I just got one person I'm kind of looking over his profile and everything right now. Curtis Brooks out of Cincinnati. He's kind of like a leaner guy. He's a 285, runs a 4.9 40, 6'2", but he's a great run defender. He has despite his size, he has plays with great leverage, has great hands, but I think he's getting pushed down draft board just because of his size. He's not a great pass rusher, but like I said, he's a great run defender, can take on double teams, and it says here that one of his biggest strengths is he gives the ends a chance to twist inside and frees up linebackers at the second level. So obviously, with the speedy linebackers we have in the second level, that'd be a great kind of a late round pickup. Free them up, let them run sideline to sideline.
Yeah, and Jeff Miles, you're my dude. Obviously, you sent in 2 questions here in the Discord chat server, and we essentially answered both, through a mix matching of these answers. But the same thing about the Kyle Hamilton, because his point being is if we take a DB in round 1 and we take a wide receiver in round 2, we don't have a 3rd round pick. So in the 4th round, are you really risking that middle linebacker, that Mike linebacker, from not being on your roster? And I would agree with you if they were going corner in that aspect. But I would imagine if it's Kyle Hamilton, I don't think the middle linebacker spot is as important as it was before if he's selected. If it's somebody else at corner, I do think you're right about that. There is a big possibility for missing a Mike.
Also, this draft is weird where you can get some pretty good linebackers on the beginning of day 3. I mean, at that round 4 pick, you look at somebody like Darian Beavers could still be there available. So there's some real good players. But it's just all a matter of what this coaching staff feels. They have a very peculiar set of rules for linebackers. It seems like Ron and Jack Del Rio really know what they're looking for in a linebacker, and they really want them to check off certain boxes. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, I think Kyle Hamilton would kind of negate that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Now, our next question that we're going to have is from our guy, Orange Crush 92. And I'm not going to lie to you. He literally made me blush when he posted this question, because I'm not sure if you guys remember this. About a year ago, before the draft, Commander OC asked us who were the generational prospects in this draft class. Do you remember what we said?
Yeah, the tight end who went to Atlanta. That's who you said, Kyle Pitts, and Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, you said Trevor Lawrence. That's absolutely right. So,
who, by the way, I will stand by that. If you go back and watch Trevor Lawrence's tape from last year, I know his stats weren't good, but go back and watch the throws he made. This guy's going to be good once he has a real offensive coach with him. He's going to be fine.
Commander OC's question is, I'll start this with you, Puckett. Is there any elite or generational player in this 2022 draft? Last year, we said Trevor Lawrence and Kyle Pitts were elite talents. How do they compare to this year's draft? And did we miss any elite or generational talent last year? Answer the last one first. Did we miss any elite or generational talent when we labeled Trevor Lawrence and Kyle Pitts as the only elite talents in that draft class?
I honestly, I don't think that we really did. I think that a lot of the players still have a little bit more to prove before I could label them elite. Elite's a very strong word. So I think that there are some very, very good players with a lot of great talent. And even players like Kyle Pitts, you wouldn't say that he had an elite season, even though we think that he will be an elite player.
Right.
So for me, I feel like there's still more to prove for some of the players. I can't really say that we missed on any. Most of them are kind of, we expected the Trevor Lawrences and the Kyle Pitts to come out swinging. And even though their seasons may not have ended up the best, I still feel like those are the two players that we look at. We'll say, okay, from that class, those are the guys that are going to do well.
What about you, Reed? Is there anybody that we missed from last year's talent?
There's a big one. It kills me. It kills me to say, but Micah Parsons is so good.
No. You're wrong. First off, it's Jamar Chase. It's Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to save one for one of you guys. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go just the way that Micah Parsons unfortunately plays the game.
I don't know anybody by that name. I know a Mike person.
He's really completely changed that linebacker. I mean, you all of a sudden in the draft, you're looking at people and they're comparing Devin Lloyd to Micah Parsons. I know, even though he's not as fast, but they're like, you need one of these linebackers that can go around and do everything. He's literally doing exactly what only a better pass rusher, what everybody was saying Isaiah Simmons was going to do. It's like he's doing everything, and it's frustrating and it sucks. But yeah, I was going to save a certain wide receiver for you guys.
No, so first off, you're wrong about Mike Person.
I'm not, though.
About Mike Person,
because
he was drafted as a linebacker. He is an elite pass rusher. He is not an elite linebacker.
He's an elite do-it-all linebacker.
No,
he's an elite. Yes, he is.
He got swallowed up.
Take your fan goggles off. It sucks, but the guy is amazing. The guy's really good.
Oh my God, I'm not having this conversation. He's a elite.
I know,
pass
because
rusher.
you're wrong.
He's a middle of the pack linebacker. He gets swallowed up constantly. He doesn't move blocks out of the way. The only time he's effective is when he's running downhill, and he doesn't have to look. He doesn't have to think. He can just go off instincts. He's very good in that aspect. Same thing he showed in Penn State film. Elite,
how does it feel to be wrong?
Generational pass rusher like an LT, but a middle linebacker, I think he's middle of the road.
And what is LT considered? The greatest defensive player of all time.
Well, I know, but he was drafted as a linebacker. That's all.
Oh my God, Kyle.
But besides that, we did miss on Jamar Chase, absolutely, as a generational
Wait a minute. But he played a lot in the slot. He was drafted as an outside receiver.
No, it's different. It's a wide receiver. He's not moving positions.
It's linebacker.
Can I say one thing about Jamar Chase?
Yes.
Can I say one thing is that he had a phenomenal season, but I like to see it again. I don't want it to be just a one season thing.
That's
even though
Justin
I think Jefferson
that he can do backed it up, right?
Yeah.
And Jamar Chase can. He's amazing.
That's true. This is a very, very good point. Justin Jefferson was obviously very, very consistent. And it's crazy because the Bengals, it wasn't like their passing attack was so crazy. It was that Jamar Chase was taking these like huge plays out of nowhere and just turning them into touchdowns. And it's absolutely insane. But there is a big point to that. And I think you're absolutely right about that, OC, that we did miss Jamar Chase in that aspect. But is there any elite or generational player in this draft, Reed?
No, I mean, even at the top of the draft, it seems like these guys they can be Pro Bowlers, they can be very good, but like I don't see Aiden Hutchinson as one of these elite world burner, Hall of Fame, gold jacket types. I mean, I just don't see it. But we're wrong every year. I mean, we even missed Rashawn Slater and Creed Humphrey when we were just talking about them. I mean, those two are fantastic at their position for rookies. But no, I don't see any gold jacket type. There's no Quentin Nelson in this draft, no Kyle Pitts, but there's a lot of very good, solid players. So
I think you're right about that. The lack of generational talent. I think obviously the name generational talent is something that gets overblown because essentially you might have one every single draft. It's very, very rare to be able to have a generational talent. I want to put that caveat in there. So no disrespect to this class. I just don't really see that talent in this class. Now, where does Kyle Pitts and Trevor Lawrence kind of match up with these guys? I think Kyle Pitts and Trevor Lawrence would be picks 1 and 2 if they went this year, even though that Kyle Pitts is a tight end. Just based off, if Jameson Williams is healthy, I think maybe he would have an argument there at number 2 with the Lions. But I do think that if Kyle Pitts and Trevor Lawrence were coming out this year, they'd be number 1 and 2. And so just to give you kind of an answer to the question, I don't see the blue chip guys. What about you, Hall?
Yeah, I would say one guy that could be like one of those generational talents from the draft last year is Patrick Surtain. I definitely think that
he was good.
He doesn't get talked about a lot because he played in Denver, and Denver kind of had a down year. Obviously, now they got Russell Wilson. They're in the AFC West, so I was definitely going to see if he can prove it with all these weapons out in the West.
He had a great year last year.
That's my point. So now they got all these weapons in the West. If he can do
At
it
a
again
premium
this year, I
position.
definitely think he'll take that next step into like one of the top names at cornerback in the league. But as far as this draft goes, if I had to pick, I guess one guy that could possibly be like that generational talent that we're talking about 2-3 years down the road from now, I would probably say Jameson Williams, just because speed kills in this league, and if he has that, he's getting compared to Tyreek Hill as far as like the speed, but he's bigger than Tyreek Hill, and he's he definitely in like moving quick spaces in quick areas like Tyreek Hill can as well. And you see the impact Tyreek Hill had. Obviously, he was playing with Pat Mahomes, so we'll see what he does with in Miami. But I definitely think that Jameson Williams goes to the right spot, gets with a good a great quarterback or a good quarterback. I definitely think he can be that generational talent that's putting up 8 to 10 touchdowns a year, going for like 1,300 yards a season, something like that. Kind of like, I'm not gonna say like AB, but kind of like AB, where he's just consistently just putting up crazy numbers year after year.
That's something real fast. That's something George brought up that I thought was interesting. Like, let's say that we draft Chris Olave or Drake London at 11. Jahan Dotson goes at 30 to Kansas City, and he's going to have a better year, I would imagine, because I mean, he's got Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball. Does that automatically, is he really the better receiver, or is he just in a better situation? Like, so much of a receiver is about the situation that you go to, and you can't name an elite quarterback without a number one receiver. So it's interesting.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, because I mean it brings up Josh Doxson, right? Would Josh Doxson have been a different player if he would have went to New England or Tampa Bay, for example, where he was able to have a better quarterback? And I know a lot of people out there.
He still would have had the same
shutting
phantom
their eyes.
ankle injury. He would have had the same phantom ankle injury.
Dude, do you remember that they did like MRIs on it? They couldn't find anything there, and he's like, "Dude, I swear there's something there."
I can't walk.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness,
exist.
what a time! Now
we forever will remember the Kansas City game. So
yeah, we will. When that should have been a catch, all he had to do was hold on to it. But now the last question from Twitter is from our guy Paul Murphy in Scotland. Hello, Paul. Let's go. If you had the chance to sign 3 players, one from each of our divisional rivals, who would it be and why, Puckett?
Okay, this is tough. This hurts my heart a little bit to even think about this. I would have to say I'm going to hop on Reed. I'm going to go Parsons. I'm going to go Devontae Smith. And then I'm going to say, man, this is tough. You know, if he was, it's hard to pick a giant, you know, because I feel like there's
a lot of their good players just line up with ours. Like it's like
Here,
position.
I'll do it. Here, I'll fix it for you, Puckett. The one player from the Giants that you want, everyone keeps talking about tight end. How about Ricky Seals-Jones? Bring him back here to be the number 2 tight end. Like I said, he was last year when everyone likes to argue with me on it. He was the number 2 tight end, and he would be able to come in right away, help you, because he showed that last season with Logan possibly not coming back right away. No.
Yeah, I'll give that to you.
Right.
I'll give that to you.
This is gonna kill me, but I'm gonna go Dak as the first person I'm gonna sign, just because I mean, hey, the guy's a good quarterback. I can try to hate on Dak all I want. I do hate him. He's Dallas, but like. The guy's a good dude. The guy's good. He's a good dude. Give me Devontae Smith, like you said, and then from the Giants, it's tough, you know, like we talked about. But I am going to go. Let's just throw a dart, hope that it sticks somewhere. Let me get the what's his face, the James Bradbury. You know what? Screw it. There we go.
James Bradbury, I like it. From the Cowls, I'll take CeeDee Lamb off bat immediately. Take CeeDee Lamb to add him to this wide receiving core. He would help out a lot on the opposite side of Terry McLaurin. And then
from that duo
from Philly, I will pull Darius Slade, be able to couple him with this secondary, make the wide receivers' jobs a lot harder going against this defense in this secondary. And then with the Giants, I'm taking our Ricky Seals-Jones and bringing my boy back. Really happy that he got starting money because he proved himself last season, even though people in this area still didn't want to give him the number 2 tight end tag on it because they felt like he wasn't good or some reason. But he earned himself a starting job. I'm really happy for him. What about you, Hall?
Yeah, from the Giants, I'll go Blake Martinez because we need.
there you go.
Is he not returning to the Giants, or am I tripping, or is that Will Hernandez?
I don't know. I just looked at Giants roster.
One of those
and it said
Hispanic
Blake Martinez
names
was on there. So
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go with Google. I don't know. So I'll go Blake Martinez for the Giants. The Eagles, I'll probably say Devontae Smith, but since everyone else said Smith, I'll go Dallas Goedert because we haven't needed tight end. I think him and
There we
Logan.
go.
There you go.
Okay.
Him
I
and
forgot it,
Logan,
yeah.
great little combo. And Dallas, I would probably say Dak just because obviously quarterback's the most important position.
Yeah.
And I think you can hate all you want, but Dak is a solid quarterback. And I
He
think
is.
Not
he
only
would
that,
be-
he's a solid good. When he's not running from
Solid
cops
guy.
in
He's a
college,
solid guy
he's
as
a good
well,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I've
But,
tried to hate
it's
Dak for
between
so
him and-
long.
I know,
It's
me
like,
too.
damn it.
It's between him and Micah Parsons, honestly. So
You just don't like his price.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't like his
I'm glad
price.
it made me forget about
Yeah.
Reed picking Minka Person. You know, it's like, why that guy? Why Minka? Why do you have to pick Minka? All right, everybody.
Because he's that good.
All right, everybody. This is going to wrap us up for this show. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys wouldn't mind, comment what your guys' thoughts on what we said here tonight and what we're doing. And then, of course, if you want to be involved on Friday's mock draft, our final mock draft, where Hull is going to be able to pick at number 11 for the Washington Commanders. You want to be able to make a pick on there, your selection and why, to kind of show how smart you are with these football picks. We'd love to be able to bring you on here and see if you got it right. All right, everybody. I'm Kyle.
I'm Hall.
I'm old dad.
And I'm new dad.
All right, and hey, Puckett, I can't thank you enough for joining us, brother. I know you got a
I
show.
appreciate you all.
You got a show coming. I know you've been in talks with Doc and everything, and he's obviously been coaching it up a little bit. I'm ready to hear you step into the ring, brother.
Oh yeah, you know I'm ready whenever, brother.
Hey, my man. All right, I can't thank you enough, brother. You know, obviously, congratulations to you and your beautiful wife and your children. I can't thank you enough for coming out here and joining us, sir, and always contributing to this show, Mike. You're the man. You're one of my good friends, buddy. And it was a pleasure being able to connect with you last season and watching that Atlanta Falcons game. Never forget us in sitting in that bar and J.D. McKissick taking that ball to the end zone. That was crazy.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me on, really.
Of course, y'all. And then we'll see you guys on Friday. Please be safe, everybody. We'll see you then. And always remember, Washington football. Woo! Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. And if you liked what you saw, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you get notified when anything new is uploaded to the channel. Also, we just launched theburgundyzone.com. You can go there and find all of our latest news, articles, and the latest episodes that are uploaded. Again, we also have the Discord chat server, where all of our VIP folks are in, like Andy Burrows, Scott Hartley, Sergio Martin is in there as well. Don't miss out on the Discord chat server. Go and check that out. Until next time, everybody, Washington football. Woo!